Yeah.
what your participation level was, but you seemed pretty optimistic on Monday. Are you even more optimistic 2 days later?
Yeah, we'll see where the week goes with the hamstring and the finger, but they were both out there, and so it seems positive today, but we'll take it to today for those two guys.
And then Joseph Osai, how much confidence do you guys have in him if he's taken on the bigger workload?
Yeah, he's done a great job for us. He's continued to get better and better every week, and so again, we've got a lot of trust that he can play some good snaps for us and be really effective.
Zach, what is it about Cam Sample that you have liked as he's kind of developed a little bit this year?
He really seemed like a veteran when he walked in the door, just the way he handled himself and picked things up. He's been able to serve different roles for us, and just he's created a lot of value for himself there, and so it's a good piece to have in that D line room that can do different jobs for us, and we've got a lot of confidence that he can get the job done.
Can he, inside, outside, you have just as much comfort in him in both spots? Can he be a guy that takes that outside?
There's a versatility there where he can serve those roles for us and really be a big help there on the edge.
Coach, have you been on a team where you have so many guys that are coming in for guys that have been hurt and stepped up the way they have?
I think it just speaks to the depth of our roster, and again, I've said this before, but what Duke and those scouts do to just scour the waiver wire and the cut downs and make sure we get people in the door that fit, how we utilize our schemes, and they're smart players. And, that's really what has happened with this roster over the course of the season. Everybody who's stepped up has known that they can't be the weak linked, and they got to be ready for their opportunity and take advantage of it. And we've seen so much of that this year and we're going to continue to see more of it as the season goes. And that's been a really big positive for us.
Do you ever look at back at like the last 3 drafts and say, pretty good? I mean, even in this league for a long time, to stack back drafts like that back to back. I mean, I don't know. Obviously you're busy. You can't
Yeah, I really don't look at it that way. I just look at where our team is at right now, but I do. It is easy to know that I think everyone in the building's done a great job of evaluating and just being collaborative about it, led by Duke, and Duke's just again done a great job of identifying people that fit what we want to do and bringing them in here, and they've all been good fits for us.
The second phase of that is development. You and your coaching staff are responsible for the development of the guys once they're drafted. Get them ready to indoctrinate into your system.
No, you're right. I do think that we've got great coaches in our staff that are good teachers and good communicators. But also with that, the players that we bring in are willing to do what it takes to improve. When they're just not stubborn, that think I've got it all figured out, and they're willing to take the coaching from coaches, from veteran players, and continue to improve. And that's what you see from our team.
Do you have an update on Hayden? I know he wasn't in practice today.
I don't have any update on Hayden this week. It seems doubtful.
What about Mike and Jalen, the 2 corners? They weren't there either. Do you have an update on those guys?
We'll see. They'll just be day to day for this week. Some soreness there, and obviously Jalen's dealing with the finger, and so we'll just kind of let that calm down and see where the week goes.
What do you see in the defense of the Bucs?
Really good defense. They got a lot of talent at every single level. Got a lot of respect for their coaching staff. Casey Rogers worked with him at Miami. Todd Bowles was there before I got there, and just everybody raved about how good he was. Faced them a lot over my NFL career, and so they always put their guys in great position. They play really hard. But really, if you just look at every level of this defense, the frontline guys put a lot of pressure on your run game and on your quarterback and the pass protections. Their 2 backers on the second level are as good a tandem as there is. I think they played every single snap this year. Those other guys, they've taken every snap. And then in the secondary, I know the safeties have been banged up, but it's a really solid group from top to bottom. The corners have been really impressive. Carlton Davis has just done a great job over his time there. And I know they're kind of going through some nickels, but they've got a lot of talent there. And we'll see who plays and who doesn't. But, man, top to bottom, it's a really impressive defense. You can see why they've had success over the years that they've had. They really put a lot of pressure on the offense to make it very difficult.
What do you remember about 2019 Brady? You played him here your first year. How he looked then, and has he changed since that in those 3 years?
He's just consistently been the same player. And I don't notice any change in how he throws the ball, velocity. He can still make all the same throws down the field. I've seen all of that. I don't, I haven't spent any time going back and watching that game. Different team, different system. And so I haven't gone back and looked at that. But, here he is, still the same consistent guy and finding a way to bring his team back and win games. And always puts them in a good position. They've always got a chance with him at the helm.
2 weeks ago, Chris Evans scores the winner. He reps it once in practice, I think. Irwin scores the winner the next week, doesn't rep it at all. How odd is that? Does that happen more than we think? Or?
Those are two of the less complicated plays we run. It's sure maybe Chris hasn't repped that play more than once, but he's run that route over and over. And so that was a full field progression, where it fell right into Joe. And Trent Irwin, there is a little bit more nuance there with the patience because you don't want to – it's an unknown of how quickly the back's going to be able to get the quarterback the ball, how quickly he's going to be able to get his fingers on the laces and put it, a decent ways down the field. So there is some nuance there to have the right amount of hesitation once you see the safety commit and not be 70 yards down the field and now the quarterback can get you the ball. But so Trent did a nice job kind of gearing it down and put himself in a good position there.
Burrow talked about not having any weaknesses or any glaring ones for that part. How much have you seen him over the course since you've known him kind of work on things in areas of his game that he knows he wants to get better at?
Joe Burrow?
Yes.
So start over there. He was saying
He was saying like he didn't really have any glaring weaknesses in his game.
Yeah.
How much have you seen him when he identifies an area that he'd like to improve? How much do you see him attack that, and how does that manifest itself in the time you've known him?
I've always been impressed by him. I've always thought that he kind of walked into this league and played at a high level from the get-go. I get asked this question a lot. How has he improved? It's a guy that took us to the Super Bowl last year and is playing at a high level again this year. So he continues to play fast. Sometimes he plays even faster than you think he's capable of, and it's just because he's got a great understanding of the defenses and how they're trying to attack us. And he can counter that quickly by getting the ball to somebody who can attack them a little faster. And I think that's really valuable to have, to be able to play and take pressure off your offensive line by playing that fast. Also knowing when to hang on to the ball and be more aggressive down the field, which he can do. And so I don't know if I'm fully answering your question, but that's how I've seen him play this year, and it's helpful for a play caller.
The batted passes, is that a concern, or is that just a symptom of a lot of times you're getting the ball out quickly?
Yeah, that's probably something that other teams focus on because the ball can come out so quickly. And I can remember that being a point of emphasis playing against the Broncos a couple years ago when I was in Miami of timers going off on our field knowing that the ball was already out, so you're late, you're not going to get there, and trying to get your hands up and get tips. And that was Peyton voiced that frustration the other night when I did watch the Manning cast with Joe. And but that's the guys that get it out quickly. That's something that teams emphasize is you might not get to the quarterback, and so you got to try to affect him. And that's just part of playing the game. And we don't spend a lot of time talking to Joe about finding different windows. He does a great job of that. Part of the price of doing business and operating the way he does is there going to be some tip balls. You hope the other team doesn't end up with them in their hands, certainly. But again, he does a great job, and those are just some of the incompletions we end up throwing is when the balls get tipped. And some of them are a great job by the D-line, kind of waiting to see the ball go up. Sometimes they're in the middle of a game and they throw up a hand, and there's been a little bit of both of that, but not something we're too concerned about.
Sorry if I missed this, but any update on Hendrickson?
Not yet. He'll just be day-to-day for this week.
I don't know if there's anybody left in the building that you haven't given a game ball to yet, but what does the personnel staff got to do to get a game ball at some point? Have you given them one?
They're grouped in with that team game ball that we had against Tennessee. They're grouped. Well, they haven't been done yet. There's a lot that have to be produced there. So they haven't physically been handed out yet. So, yeah, you must have been talking to a couple of people at practice maybe who are in town, who are back in town this week. Trust me, they're a major part of what we're doing, and we'll make sure that they're always involved.
Would you ever give up game balls after the draft or free agency to try to appease these people?
Yeah, maybe, that makes sense. Maybe if a player from an area makes the Pro Bowl, then that scout should be, that's kind of Duke's world right there. He can give out his own game balls too if he wants to.